in St Helens, but the league leaders for the past 3 years are 16-0 up against the Catalan Dragons. Paul Wellens is all ready, and so is the referee. He blows the whistle. Second half's underway. Deep kick-off right underneath the crossbar. And a vigorous run from the Catalan Dragons there for the first tackle of this second half. Maybe Mick Potter has got at them, Steve-O, do you think?
Oh, he's had to. He was disappointed with their performance. I mean, when you look at their defensive qualities, only Jason Croker, 23 tackles in the first half, and it's 2 substitutes that have made double figures. The rest haven't done that. Guise 10 and Carlo 15, and you sort of say to yourself, what's happening with the forwards? They've got to work out there.
Well, when you consider also that 10 of the 13 matches before tonight in Super League have been decided by a margin of 8 points or less, and they've won 7 of those, plus they got a 28-all draw at home against Hull FC, and that's a much better chase.
And if you're going to go down, at least go down with a fight, and I'm not talking about illegal aggressive play, but a little bit of fight in your effort here with the ball and without it as well. You've said it to see that there in the opening minute. I think St Helens perhaps were guilty of coming down to Catalan's level perhaps in that first half, and hopefully both sides will play at a higher intensity.
And I think Mick Potter will also be disappointed with the showing of his Catalan Dragons team, because of course he will be here at St Helens next year, and he will want this team to give a good account of themselves. It's rather like a reference, isn't it, for a new employee that he's got here, trying to win over the St Helens supporters.
Well, he's got the job. He doesn't need the reference anymore.
I know, but you know what I mean.
I can understand it. He wants to be in the shop window, and he is. And I thought that he would come up with a few tricks. Little, oh, that's not going to help the cause, because he's going to have a very hard job to fill the boots of Daniel Anderson.
Mind you, we've said that about successive coaches, haven't we, at St Helens? You know, Ian Millwood was going to be a difficult act to follow, and look what Daniel Anderson's done as far as that's concerned. Ellery Hanley was going to be a difficult act to follow after winning the grand final. Look what Ian Millwood did. It's just a dynasty that keeps rolling along.
Yeah, and they've been very good with their juniors, and their development has been excellent.
That was the point Terry was making at half-time, that every team at every level plays in the St Helens way. Let's get to the sideline. Bill, some news for us.
Well, Aaron Gorrell, who we saw come off in the first half, Eddie, will not be coming back for the Catalan Dragons. That shoulder problem preventing that. They're not certain how serious it is. They're hoping it is just a bang on the shoulder and nothing worse than that, but it's enough to keep him out of the rest of the game. Steve-O mentioned that Mick Potter might have laid into his side at half-time. Speaking to Rodney Howe on the sidelines for the Dragons, there certainly was a little bit of language in the dressing room. I won't tell you exactly what Rodney used to describe the first half performance from the Dragons, but in a nutshell, he hit the nail on the head.
Fair enough. Poor, I think, was probably the word that was used. Long with a kick downfield. That
too strong.
Should just skip away, and does.
The one advantage they will have, we mentioned it just before the half-time break, is that they have got quite a considerable wind behind them. So at least their kicking game, which had to improve, it was very poor in the first 40. They will get a little bit of assistance from that, but they just can't seem to get into a good position to launch any attack or to ask any questions on this Saints defence.
This is Gregory Muniz. There are 3 hunting him down. Jason Croker is there, and Casey Maguire is the dummy half. That's the ball in field to Adam Mogg. And here is Jamal Fakir. That's a better run up the middle for the big fellow. Maguire again. Bosk tries to go inside Hargreaves, gets the ball away to Maguire. It's opened up for Maguire. Mogg is there, and here's a try for the Catalan Dragons. Wonderful little piece of play then. Mogg with the reverse pass from Maguire, and he opened up the St Helens defence there. And that's a great touchdown from Adam Mogg. Rated by Opta, the firm that keeps all the stats in the Super League, as the best performer in the Millennium Magic weekend, Adam Mogg. This is a fine try.
Good offload as well. Thomas Boss started it all. Back on the inside, superb positioning there, Adam Mogg. He's had a great season, and he's on the showcase as well. Not sure whether he'll be staying with Catalans next year, this fella. Speculation is going somewhere in England to a Super League club. But you've also got to add the fact that that wonderful run by Jamel Fakir just got them into a good position. And that's what they was missing in the first half.
Thomas Bosk underneath the sticks after the try from Adam Mogg. No problems for Thomas Bosk, and Catalan Dragons on the board. 16-6 though, still to St Helens, but hope springing eternal for the French.
This is a big run from the big fella, and that's what they needed. You know, it's just to sort of ask the questions back on the inside. He knew exactly what a wonderful, wonderful offload by Casey Maguire. Adam Mogg says thank you very much indeed, and the look on Paul Welland's face, sheer astonishment. How on earth did he get that away? He did.
Steve-O, them first 3 sets by the Catalan team, all they seemed to do was get the ball, and they've run a lot with a lot more aggression this half, and the way that they're just trying to get down and play the ball. And all you've got to do is really get the ball, try and run over the top of somebody, and something will come off, whether it be a second phase where you can offload the ball, or Jamel Fakir laying the foundation so that your halfbacks can get the ball and run at people and run at flat-footed defence. That's where that try come about.
Scored by Adam Mogg. I'm interested in your comment, Steve-O, that you think Adam Mogg might be coming to a Super League club in England. It wouldn't be a million miles away from where we are today, would it?
Well, I was just saying, he's in the shop window, and this is a pretty big window. St Helens are famous for glass. I'll leave it up to you.
There's Mogg again. The kick, though, is straight to Melly, who gives it to Wellens. Mogg following up, gets the tackle in with a bit of help from Carlaw and Croker. They have the talent, Catalan Dragons.
And it looks like Mick Potter's moved Adam Mogg into the middle of the pitch and wanting to get the ball in his hands as the most he can get his balls in his hand, the better, because he's really so influential the way he goes forward. And I just think that's what Mick Potter said. Go in there, try and inspire your teammates, and he's put Big Ragoon out.
Well, surely that was a knock-on, or at least a forward pass from a surprised Sean Long. Got away with it, the Saints.
This is Gilmore now for St Helens. Last tackle, though. They find Long with the pass, and there goes the kick. Pello is underneath this, but Gardner looks the more hungry for it, but that was a great take from Dimitri Pello.
Was it ever? It juggled, so it's got to his fingertips, but then just got it into his chest. What a take, look at that. Fantastic.
Well, they're playing with a lot more verve, aren't they, at the start of this second half?
Well, we saw nothing from the forwards in that first 40. It's amazing what a good shake-up by your coach can do for the confidence.
Well, I must say, when we saw him in the dressing room, he seemed to be laying the law down a bit. There was a bit of finger-pointing from Mick Potter. Well, that ball's come free.
It's no advantage, so we'll bring back the scrum. Knock on to Catalan, head and feed Saints. Now, it's important now that Mick Potter gets this message out and say, right, we've got off to a good start. Just lost it, control of it. We've got to go a good start, and we've got to try to consolidate now. Try to force the error. There were quite a few from Saints in the last 10 minutes before half-time.
I thought there might have been a little hand in there, actually, from the St Helens defender. Wellens gets to his feet, plays it to Roby. Here's Flannery. And to go inside Ragan. It's Long. Low ball to Price.
Well, not surprisingly, Daniel Anderson has thrown back onto the fray. Jason Kalish, the big fella's out there.
Roby waits at dummy half, finds Sean Long, and Long sees a gap. Oof. Wellens hit the deck as he was following up Long on his left shoulder. This is the last tackle. Price feeds the ball to the in-goal area. That's easy for Yunus Katabi. Diffuses the bomb. Tap restart on the 20-metre line.
Well, Sean Long tried to use the wind to sort of
They're all
hold
offside
it up.
then.
Always going to give...
yeah, they're right.
Yep.
He's right. They were about 3 or 4 metres off the line when the ball struck the foot.
Well, to be fair, Phil Bentham did exactly the first there. A bit of a blood bin, surely, for Lee Gilmore. That's the result of that clash of heads in the first half. Now then, can they complete the set of 6? Oh, that looked a touch forward.
He was nearly through. Roby, an important tackle on Green Shields. Here's Maguire, dummy half. There's the ball in field to Adam Mogg again. Well, suddenly Catalan Dragons have a bit of belief in themselves. Maguire, and here is Thomas Bosch. This is Jason Croker, and Croker just down a blind alley, and the ball was stolen from him in the tackle.
Take the tap, keep turning the tourniquet, no doubt about it. Roby and Long, fingertips.
They have taken the tap. Bosch gets the ball off his boot and gives it in field. Here's Adam Mogg again. Back it goes to Green Shields. Trying to take on Long on the outside. Dimitri Pello, short ball, drive in from Fakir. That's 3 gone.
Oh, Sean Long was way offside, yeah. He's allowed the advantages as Phil Bentham.
He has, and the ball has come free and Roby has it. Well, they were all offside, the St Helens defenders. Mind you, Phil Bentham was the video referee last night, and he didn't really spot on the video replay that
was a hand
Trent
in there
Barrett
as well.
was offside against Warrington for Wigan. Look at them.
Oh, Sean Long was so offside. And, you know, it's funny, you can see there Phil Bentham had the whistle to his mouth. He was going to blow, and then decided against it.
Roby gets the ball in field to Gidley, to Bennett rather. That was Wellens. There's a dab over the top from Long, and Katabi does well.
He read it well. As soon as Long got the ball in his hands, Katabi was racing back, get himself in a good position. Good hit. Put him under a lot of pressure, haven't they, Yunus Katabi? That's the one thing you can say about the Saints. They just keep doing it now. They keep grinding away until you just find the opposition fall apart.
Pello gets the ball in field to Bosch. This is Muniz. Good defence from St Helens there.
They've got to use the wind now. Use the wind with a big kick.
And Maguire does that over the head of Wellens. Wellens has to run it back. Here comes the chase. Wellens evades the first and loses the ball. And Jamal Fakir getting slaps on the back from all of his teammates. Big hit by the prop forward substitute there.
Wonderful stuff. Jamal Fakir just made sure that he got the swinging arm and the shoulder straight on the ball carrying arm. It's pretty hard to dislodge the ball from this fella.
Second half is only 13 minutes old, but it's a different Catalan Dragons that's turned up. And here is Clint Greenshields trying to go between Talau and Price. Wilson waits. The runner is Ferriol. Hello, Cunningham has come off the bench and has come on for his second spell of the match. Bosch to Mogg. Mogg gets the ball back. This is Ragan. That was touched by St Helens' hand.
Oh, he's saying that it wasn't touched.
Ragan again. I think it was, you know, but the touch judge and referee had a good look at each other, and the tackle count is allowed to continue. Pello, not the best pass to Adam Mogg. They made the most of it. Bosch, a lovely little kick through, looking for Muniz. Wellens with work to do, and he does it well.
Great stuff. Maguire trying to get it. Luckily, should have been penalised. Went for the second bite of it.
Oh, here goes Francis Melli. But surely the Catalan Dragons should have had 6 to go. Maybe not.
Yeah.
It was off the legs of Long.
Well, the crowd underneath us, the faithful here at St Helens. The fans trying to impress the man with a whistle, Phil Bentham, that they're all offside.
And they are now. They have got their wish. supporters.
Well, these people underneath us, Eddie, you know, they don't have to wait till New Year to make a wish, do they? They're pretty influential. I'm not suggesting that the officials listen.
Kalis.
He needs something special. Daniel Anderson knows it as well.
That's why Cunningham's come back. Here is Paul Clough.
Ooh, that looked high. That was a high shot. Very, very lazy.
Started to concede penalties, starting to come up with errors again, the Dragons.
Alex Chan didn't miss, swinging left arm.
It's Kalis again.
We haven't seen Cunningham go for a solo for a while.
Goes down the short side here with Clough. That's high again.
He's got to call the captain here.
Dane Carlaw, the guilty party this time. Or is it Remy Casti?
Remy Casti, you're right.
Dane. High shot anyway. Long to Wilkin. Maguire and Ferriol. And the transgressor, Casti, bringing him down. Short ball from Cunningham to Kalis. Oh, they're offside under their own sticks again. Well, they are killing themselves giving these penalties away. And he now wants a word with the skipper.
Okay, mate, we've got 3 or 4 blokes, not even got 1 foot on the line. Okay, we've had a succession of penalties. I need to speak to them.
Well, he spotted that they weren't even with 1 foot on the line at that end, but I'm afraid Mr. Bentham missed a dozen of the St Helens players with feet on the other side of the whitewash at the other end not long ago. Here is Gidley. Gidley! Ball over the top. Oh, and a knock-on from Gardner.
Daniel Anderson will be furious. They haven't had possession for a while. They've allowed the opposition to score a try. Why they want to squeeze it when they're in a good position? When you've got that good, solid defensive quality, I think that picture tells a very good story. When you've got that quality to defence, Terry, you don't have to keep forcing it. You've still got a commanding lead of 10 points. Just stay down there. Oh, it's knocked on. I can't believe that.
Alex Chan with the first, and Paul Clough, I think it was, with the second. Oh, it's going to be head and feet to Saints anyway.
It's half an hour since Saints last scored a try. I think maybe they've lulled into a false sense of security with the early scores, and they'll be wanting, I think, just to extend their lead here, to put a bit of comfort amongst their own supporters and probably amongst the coaching staff.
4 penalties and a couple of errors in the last 2 minutes from Catalan Dragons as Price attacks them again. Oh,
Someone's got to go. He's got to go. He's had enough. I've told you.
Well, he's not impressed. Concerned, Nick Potter. And Clint Greenshields is asking what it was for. Ball stealing, says the referee.
Well, surely the gate will open now. 1 man down, keep the ball alive, but to their credit, they've upped the tempo in the defensive line. They had to. Pretty poor first stanza.
Price back on the inside to John Wilkins, spins away from one, can't get away from the next 2. Graham has returned to add a little bit of weight. Oops, off the head, back to Kalis. Knock on. He's ruled a knock on.
Yeah. Well, they're all complaining and saying, well, hang on, we knocked it, but we caught it. Well, that came off a Catalan man. It looks to me as though Sebastian Ragun touched that, which he did, so it should have been play on. And Eddie Gardner should have been picking up another try.
If you want to win here, you need some luck, and at the moment...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 St Helens players in the face of the referee.
We don't want that. That's in other sports. I know they can be badly done to, but let's not slip that standard. There's the one thing we can feel proud about, is that we do not contest the decision of the man with the whistle. We may look a little bit confused, but not 4 or 5 walking like that. I thought I was looking at a round ball.
40.
Casey Maguire with the deep kick, too deep.
I think it's an illustration of the pressure that Saints probably feel under here now. I say it's over 30 minutes they've scored. They've only got a 10-point lead, which doesn't provide that much comfort. And their opponents still have a lot of life left in them, despite the penalty count almost off the radar.
They've been under the cosh there a bit, though, haven't they, Phil? They probably could have took an extra few tackles to probably re-energise and get some more energy back into the system, because the forwards on the defensive line were coming up with some big tackles, but they've got to really improve this now. Improve the contact there and maybe get them down, because the second phase is what's killing them as well.
I think Catalan look very comfortably ahead here because they're chasing. That 10-point chase here now, great target to go for.
Maguire gets the ball away to Wilson. Remember, Green Shields is in the bin, so Catalan Dragons with 12 men on the field at the moment. And here is Adam Mogg, and that's Ferriol.
No panic, that's the question. Daniel
Alex
Anderson
Chan
will be pushing
over the
the
top to Jason Croker. Then on it goes to Wilson again. He's upended by Talau, Croker, and Thomas Bosk, Chan.
Well, a try here, and I must say, for the Catamonster Pigeons.
Well picked up. Short ball to Ragan. It's the turnover. They didn't hear the count, I think.
I think they were quite happy with just really go for the power play. And to be fair, they really have upped the tempo. It's a lot better performance in defence by the French outfit since the restart. And that looked high, but the touch judges on was missed by the man with the whistle. Kellis didn't like it. There's the Medi flag waiver.
Let's get the report.
Okay, mate, got it. No, it's on his head there.
It was Ferriol who is penalised for the high shot. It was.
Certainly well over the shoulder. And this guy will just get back to basics. James Graham, he'll say, right, we'll just go one way, forward. Oh, good hits.
12 penalties the Catalan Dragons have conceded to St Helens, and yet they're only 10 points adrift. I mean, it's an indisciplined show in many ways, but it also is a... Well, is it a testimony to their defence, or is it a question mark against St Helens' attack tonight? Because they look marvellous for 20 minutes in the first half.
Roby! It's a different defence in the second, I'll tell you. They're working for each other.
Long chips the ball over the top, and that's picked
Diffused
up by Katabi. He says it's a goal line dropout.
Did he come? He must have come from the field of play, but well, we'll see on the replay. He's got it right. Got it absolutely spot on as Phil Bentham.
Nice little kick over the top by Sean Long.
The defence has been a lot stronger this second half because they've respected the ball, haven't they? They've not tried to force the ball. They've not tried to play outside of St Helens before going forward. And that's probably a big way why they're still in this game, and they're still only 10 points behind. After giving away 12 penalties, there is a big effort to get back into this game, but they've got to improve the discipline.
And it also shows you that the Catalans' kicking game has improved, assisted by the wind. You must say that, but...
yeah, you were convinced all the way through this game that there was a gale force wind blowing.
I didn't say. I said it was a breezy wind. And you've seen the difference in the second half with that kicking game from the French side. Simple. Put himself in position.
Cunningham. St Helens look as though they've just upped the tempo. Great ball from Gidley to Gardner. Can't stop him.
Nice finish.
Fantastic hands from Matt Gidley to Eddie Gardner. Absolutely fantastic. And Gardner comes up with his 14th try of 2008. It's 10 tries now in his last 7. 2 tries in each of the last 3 in Super League. And he got a hat-trick against the Catalan Dragons here in a cup quarter-final in 2006. But you can put that try down to all the pressure and also down to some fantastic handling skills from Gardner's centre, Matt Gidley. Watch this.
Beautiful offload, wasn't it? They tried the damnedest to get to him. He made short of it. What's a flick on? Bang. Quick. As soon as Dimitri Pello had come into the region of Matt Gidley. See you later. Was it forward? Perhaps on that white line. It may have. Because Gidley, he gets it down second occasion anyway. Well, that'll be huge relief for not only the coach Daniel Anderson, but the fans at the ground were a little bit sort of sceptical. They thought this was going to be an easy run-in the second half. Full credit to their opposition, but at least building some pressure themselves. A cute angle for Sean Long. There's had plenty of these over the years.
Yes, he has. The correct side of the field for a left-footed kicker, but he's just pulled it the wrong way. He's got a bit of a hook on it. 20 points to 6. Still not won, you know. But Gardner's try gives St Helens just a little bit more breathing space. After the first try, Steve-O, in the second minute, we all sat back and thought this was going to be an annihilation. It hasn't been that.
And I think mentally, that's what most of the St Helens players thought too.
Couple of minutes left in the sin bin for Clint Greenshields. So I suppose, having conceded just the one try, damage limitation.
Well, it looked that way, but to be fair, for 20 minutes, even though that...
Oh, it's another penalty.
Oh, it's just continual.
Quick tap and go from Cunningham.
It's very hard to beat your very best 3 consecutive weeks. Saints were outstanding in Cardiff in the victory over Wigan. They were pushed very, very hard by Warrington last week in the Cup. And so I think it's understandable to a certain degree, Eddie, that the players haven't been at their scintillating best on this 3rd game in a row.
Cunningham and Kalis.
At least Saints have gone back to basics, and that's hard work in the forwards. We saw the skill factor, Gidley. Quick hands to Gardner in the corner.
Oops. Little knock on by John Wilkin this time, who is a little angry with himself.
Overcooked it, went early. Set pattern. Long knew exactly. Come on the angle, just suck Ragin.
Okay, let's get in.
He doesn't look too impressed, does he?
Come on, Saints.
Well, he's not ordering coffee, that's for sure. He's making sure that the message gets down to him. You know, there are sometimes you don't need any sort of electronic device to get messages across.
No, if they just looked at the big screen and saw the look on the face of their coach, then all the St Helens players know he would not be best pleased. Ferriol hangs on.
And they realise they've got to get another try to make sure that they wrap this game up. Big question is, can the French outfit get into a pretty good position for them to launch an attack in?
Here's Muniz, ball to Maguire. Now it's Dane Carlaw. Bosch, Adam Mogg, certainly operating closer to the action at the moment. The pass from Ragan finds Pello. Oh, it was stolen, it was knocked forward,
Offside.
and Gardner was offside.
Oh, he's given just a knock on. Either way, the Catalans will get the possession.
That's a penalty, surely.
Well, it looked that way, rips it off.
Without a doubt.
The wing is offside. Either way, he should have been 10 metres away from the Saints goal line.
Well, all stay in.
Well,
they're 30. Calm down.
Well, I think that should have been a penalty to Catalan Dragons.
You're right,
For
but
the offside.
still calm down.
This is Ferriol.
Second, clearing. Yes, we go.
You couldn't say that the St Helens player was accidentally offside. Ooh, that was a hospital pass from Muniz.
Not only that,
Carlo
he's
has
lost
done
it.
well to hang on to it.
Well, why put the scrum down when he's got the ball in his hands? Why don't you just get up and play the ball?
I think he knocked on as well, Steve. I think then he said, listen, we'll take the first knock on. That was the referee's words.
I said he did well to hang on to it.
Okay, guys,
He did well to hang on to his head, Dane Carlo. I don't know about the ball.
I don't know where Wilkin got a knock on there, either way.
Out.
Melly to Gidley.
Now this is normally where Saints just produce something pretty grand and fine, deep from within their own half. Haven't seen Leon Price get involved for quite some time. Great, good work. Oh, why did he try to force it?
I'm not sure he's got this right either. Did that not come off the knee of the St Helens player? It's head and feet to the Catalan Dragons. Have a look at this. Does this come off the hands?
It's hard to say. Well, there was a fingertip there. Bit scrappy. But why? Why are they trying to force the pass? They're leading by 20 points to 6. Just over 10 minutes to go.
Well, that's St Helens, Steve. They just look to play any opportunity they get. They just look to play. I think the Catalan players are going to be ruining the fact that the discipline's really cost them this game. And again,
forward pass.
Well, I think they're going to be claiming, some of the French outfit, that the pass was all right. Did it hit a St Helens player that ricocheted forward? No.
Melly went for the ball and the ball carrying arm.
But they started off the second half being really direct in the way that they were running. They were running with a lot of conviction down the middle of the park, and they weren't looking to play on the edges. They were just looking to promote the ball, whether it be from an offload or just into the person who was pushing up into that next hole. From all the pressure that they've been up, and really the indiscipline is the thing that they'll look back on and say, we could have beat St Helens at St Helens, but the ill-discipline cost us.
Well, the penalty count is 13-3 now in St Helens' favour.
And the scoreline of 20 points to 6 is not sufficient to convince Daniel Anderson that this has been a good display, because it hasn't. With a one-sided penalty count, you really have got to hammer the opposition.
Well, that's the equivalent of 60 extra tackles that the Catalan Dragons have had to withstand, isn't it? Over the top from Gidley again to Gardner, who scoots in and probably just ties up the 2 points for St Helens here with his second try of this second half. Aidy Gardner got 2 tries in each of his last 3 matches in Super League, so make that 2 tries in each of his last 4 now in Super League for Aidy Gardner. And he certainly is the #1 winger in the Super League at the moment.
Again, it was that man, Kieran Cunningham, that started it all on a short blind side. He's had a big game as Aidy Gardner. He's come up with trumps when they needed him. That's a great finish. Nothing was going to stop him.
That's the angle that Sean Long has for this conversion. 2 from 4 for the St Helens scrum half tonight. And make that 2 from 5. 24-6.
Well, it's beyond the reach of the Catalans now. They know that. Maybe we might see a little bit of flamboyancy from St Helens in these final minutes. But it looked a bit sticky for a while when Adam Mogg scored early after the restart.
Well, Scott Donald did not score last night, I understand, for the Leeds Rhinos, so Aidy Gardner has just taken the lead as the top try scorer in Super League this year. 15. 7 minutes to go. St Helens will be second. They will close the gap fractionally on Leeds Rhinos at the top. I think the gap will be 6 points now after this. This is Gilmore. Battled on gamely despite that clash of heads, hasn't he? Price. Now will St Helens just put a little bit of icing on the cake?
They normally do. As I say, this second half.
Great ball from Cunningham to Roby, and Roby beats 2. Oh, and loses the possession. What a shame. That was almost one of their champagne moments.
What an offload by Kieran Cunningham. Was it a touch forward? Who knows? This is how it finished up. They got back in numbers. Good work by John Wilson. The impact just knocking the ball away from James Roby's grasp. That was the icing you were looking for, Eddie.
Yes, it was. It's just gone a bit solid.
Solid or soft?
Well, I like my icing a bit softer than solid.
Too much information. Well, big pot to the Catalans coach. I suppose in many ways he'll say, well, I can grasp some positives in the second half, but I think he may as well just throw the tape away of the first 40. To put it mildly, they were shocking.
That's a positive as well, though, isn't it, Steve? Where they managed to get back and prevent James Roby from passing that ball and coming up with that score. They know that the game's gone, but it was still a desire for them not to let St Helens score, and it's just how they finished the game in a professional manner going into the last 5 minutes of the game.
Backwards, backwards.
Maguire hacks the ball forward, straight into the arms of Francis Melli. Goes wide to Talau. And Talau. All down.
Pretty good effort there from Casey Maguire. Went into the big fella, went low, crashed him down.
Kieran Cunningham has had a massive influence on this match. He was on when St Helens built their 16-point lead in the first half, and when things were a bit shaky, he came back and steadied the ship. And here is Bennett. As I said to Terry, Steve-O, during the half-time break, he's like a Sherman tank, isn't he?
Yeah, and it lifts the side. He's there when they really need it, but he's had a top game as well as Gidley, but that'll be a knock-on.
No, it was off the
offside,
foot.
To get it offside.
Yeah, it was off the foot of the Catalan defender, and then it was touched by somebody in front of him. Pello off the feet, and then Ragan, you see, tries to keep away from it, but then he can't.
He does, yeah.
He just can't resist.
Yeah.
Surrender.
4 minutes to go. St Helens looking for a 30-point mark. He's done his bit. Kieran Cunningham. Here's Price. Wellens. Gilmore. Long. Wilkin. Flannery. Flannery.
Second. Clint. Go.
Roby. Price. There it is. I know that they've been rattled a bit in this second half, but they look like they've won, Steve-O, without hitting top gear tonight.
Give that impression, but also give a lot of praise to this Catalan outfit. At least they showed up in that second half. They just ran out of steam in many ways. We haven't seen anything from the big fella. Leon Price is not really injected himself into this second half. Perhaps knew the game was won when Gardner snapped up those 2 quick tries. This is the offside. Dimitri Pello certainly got to it, and from it. Neat work from Roby. He knew exactly where Leon Price was going to come from, back on the angle. It's not just a matter of support play, which Saints are superb with, but when it comes to set patterns, they're also very, very hard to stop, and that is not a good sight to see Lee Gilmore, who has been in the wars throughout this game. I get the impression is that he's got a broken nose, and he's been helped off the field with perhaps a leg injury.
Long misses another. 28 points to 6. Leon Price has scored in all 4 of Catalan Dragons' visits to Nosey Road, and there is the injury to Lee Gilmore, and that could be serious. That could be ligament damage. Could be anything.
You guess, looking from that angle, it's knee or ankle, isn't it? And on the inside, they say, medial knee ligaments would probably be the favourite when you look at it again from that angle. Twisted and held behind one defender. We often see that in rugby league. Sometimes it isn't as serious as it first looks. Let's hope that's the case for Lee Gilmore.
Minute and a half to go. St Helens second in the table, leading the chase on the reigning champions, the Leeds Rhinos. That's a knock on by Bryn Hargreaves.
Well, an opportunity now just to finish with a flourish. Hargreaves has a little word with the man. It was a shocking attempt to play the football.
Wait, Tom, wait.
30 years ago, he would have got away with it.
Time off, come on. Hey, that was one then.
But it was only a twinkle in somebody's eye.
You know what's fantastic about this St Helens side? Steve-O, you picked up in it the first half. Michael Crocker, 23 tackles, but they look up and they play what they see. They've seen there was a weakness out here on the left-hand side, and they've changed their attack, and they've just attacked Dragon down here on the left all the time in this second half.
Here's Jamal Fakir trying to give Catalan something to take back on the plane with them in the morning. And Ragan gets the ball away, and Greenshields will go in for a try in the corner. Clint Greenshields gets a touch of consolation for Catalan Dragons. St Helens just maybe switched off mentally after that last prize try. And Clint Greenshields, well, what an in-and-out day he has had. Sin-binned in the second half, and now a try, just to give the scoreline a little more respectability.
All came about by the error, and good work, good wraparound as well. Greenshields in at the corner. It's always nice to see the wraparound. Sebastian Ragun beating the full back. Well, the positives, as I mentioned, Mick Potter can perhaps take home with them on the plane, and maybe just leave a hint to the St Helens fans that they are gaining a pretty good coach, and I think he's proved that. The CV this year has certainly been spot on. Can Mr. Bosk add the extras?
No, he can't. It just goes the wrong side of the post, but only just. There's the full-time siren. 28 points to 10. St Helens have won. 80 goals.